What's up, guys? So, Secret Invasion Episode 3 has officially released, and with this episode, we learn a lot, and even with Gravik and his plan, of course, involving the Super Skrulls, and even with Nick Fury uncovering some stuff as well, there's a lot of confrontation, and even with that mind-blowing reveal, especially for what's been everyone's been pointing out all along, and that's with it involving Rhodey as well. And so, in this video, it's a beautiful spoiler review for Secret Invasion Episode 3. Go over everything that went down, including going over the ending of what might be revealed for Rhodey all along as well. And so, if you're new to the channel and you enjoy something like this, be sure to subscribe with the bell so don't miss out on future videos like this. So, let's get to it. And now, as Sean Gravik going over his plan with the council, and now that he is a general, we see him in a lab with some machine, and then he says that he sent two people to infiltrate the Royal Navy, and that he is planning a missile strike on a United Nations target, and this is so that they can claim the planet as their new home, and even involving Super Skrulls, and then also foreshadowing Robert Fairbanks in this episode, but I'll get to that a little bit, especially as we get more detail of what Gravik's plan is. And so, with this episode, we open in New York City in 1998, where we see Nick Fury meeting up with his wife, and even for what we saw at the end of the last episode, where we saw his wife is a Skrull, and even with Nick Fury being committed to a relationship in marriage to a Skrull, and that, they didn't want anyone to know that he is married to a Skrull, and even so, with Nick Fury being connected to the Skrulls, much more that we thought, even with him being married to a Skrull, of course, and even with these flashbacks, and I think so they'll tell more to the story, especially as we see Nick Fury in these flashbacks. And then we get the name drop of Dracoff, the villain from Black Widow, and even with this, it takes place in 1990. This was all before Natasha's involvement with Dracoff, including for his daughter. And even so, with Nick Fury, he hear the name of Dracoff, maybe that they've been dealing with Dracoff too. And even with his name, that was a name drop in this episode. It was nice to bring up the villain from Black Widow. And then we see Nick Fury and his wife having a conversation, and with his wife who reveals that she became a widow in his absence, because with Nick Fury he was gone during the blip, and even for when he came back the second time, because he was in space, he was off the grid, and then she also says that she was also a widow in his second absence, and I thought they would do all the payment because of what they're going through, and even with that, so all that time and Nick Fury that was gone, especially during the blip. And then we see Gravik and Gaia in the car, with Gravik telling them that they need to be at A19 and Neptune in 2200 hours, and with the A19 being the coordinates, and then we see Tails and Gravik, and with Tails immediately confronting Gravik about his plan involving the Super Skrulls, and then we see all the people behind him, all this guys as Gravik. I think this was the best well written scene, especially with Tails confronting Gravik about his plan, and then even with Nick Fury and Tails going to stop a nuclear attack with this guy named Robert Fairbanks, and even so with his nuclear attack, and even with Gravik's plan involving the Super Skrulls, and even with this war. And even as we see Nick Fury and Tails just interacting with each other, I just love the chemistry together. I thought this was a very well-written episode, especially with them talking. And I just love the chemistry between these two. I thought these two make a great duo. And now we see Nick Fury and Tails arriving to Bob, and they're trying to prevent him from launching a missile strike. And even so, I need a code password in order to stop it. And then they get his son Zachary, and they so with a code password that is his son's name, and then we see Tails shoot Bob, and then we see him even disguised as a Skrull, and that as part of a Gravik's plan involving the Super Skrulls and the war on Earth, and even so, I think that this is set up something that much that is way bigger. And next we see the most heartbreaking scene with Gaia confronting Gravik about his plan if he's the leader of the Skrulls, and even so we see Gravik shoot Gaia, and I think this is like really sad. I think kill off Clark's character even with Gaia in the show, then so far in the show with only 3 episodes in, and now they killed Maria Hill and Gaia as well, and even at so, and I think it's up to Nick Fury and Talos to stop this war, even with Gravik's plan involving the Super Skrulls. And now let's go over that ending, and that's with Nick Fury's way that's going to join on the battle, and with her getting her gun, and then suddenly getting a call from who we thought it was Gravik, and turns out it is Rhodey on the call, and even with her that wants to speak to Gravik, and even with Rhodey on the phone, and this proves that everyone's theories all along, and that proves that Rhodey is indeed a Skrull, and even so as we saw back in the last episode, trying to out Nick Fury, and even so I think if Rhodey is definitely revealed to be a Skrull right here, it would definitely wondering where the real Rhodey is, and even with a Rhodey definitely revealed to be a Skrull. And yeah, and with the episode 3 of Secret Invasion, I thought this was a great episode. I think I'm really enjoying the show so far, as the show is trying to keep you guessing, and it's especially with a guy and Tails of both confronting Gravik about his plan, and even with Nick Fury and his wife, and even with his being a spy thriller, and this was a great episode, and I think we'll guys have to wait and see for what the rest of the show holds, if Rhodey is need to be a Skrull, and especially with Gravik's plan involving the Super Skrulls and so much more as well. And so that is going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and what your thoughts on episode 3 of Secret Invasion. Give it a rating 2 out of 10. You can get this video a like and subscribe and turn on notifications about future videos, and for live updates, always follow me on Twitter. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.